Cardano bulls continue to make their run. The test it is on the daily chart, up around 40% since the end of December on this daily chart, and 9 candles. That's 9 out of the last 10 candles green on this daily chart. A very big deal. I think the last time this happened was in the last bull market. I just checked. I don't think it's happened in this bear market. So it is a big deal and potentially an indicator of this macro shift that we're looking for. In this video, I want to discuss a super trend that was just brought to my attention over on Twitter, and it could be signaling the macro shift from bear to bull, the one that we all want. Whether you're an ADA holder or not, these are the types of signals we want to start seeing in crypto. I want to discuss that super trend, take a look at it. Real quick before we do though, on the weekly chart, some context, a very important thing for me personally before I really dig into super trends and bullish talk. I like to just see from a very macro picture, where are we? What's going on? And this is just the way that I see the charts. I'm just sharing with you my opinion and the data, and it's the 20-week moving average, everybody, that I continue to watch on this ADA chart and really across all cryptos. So 20-week moving average around 36 cents. This has been the area that ADA has failed at throughout this entire bear market, these lower highs, macro lower highs. So the question once again, as we approach that area, if ADA touches that 20-week moving average around 36 cents, what happens? Is it broken to the upside at all? And if it is broken, what kind of extension above that 20-week moving average are we getting? That's important. The second thing on this ADA chart on the weekly is this. If we go over to momentum oscillators, we have some nice momentum on the slower moving momentum oscillator, the RSI. And not only that, we've kind of been looking at this downtrend of lower highs on the RSI. And this one back here, all the way in March 2022, this one right here, August 2022, these ones, all these lower highs broken right now in this move that ADA is seeing. This is a nice macro picture for ADA, especially as we start trying to put together the pieces that are going to tell the story of the shift of bear to bull. And I say that a lot because it's kind of like we're in a bear market. And eventually, if there will be a bull market, what does that story look like in the bottom range in terms of shifting from bears to bulls? It could be sideways and choppy and volatile, but what does it actually look like? And these are the things that those stories are made of. It's moves like this on an RSI, especially coming out of this oversold area, the most oversold ADA has ever been on this RSI. That's a big deal, something I'm watching. The other thing with this move I found interesting that I just saw was on the MACD even, you can see ADA was kind of just getting some momentum to the upside since on this chart since around summer 2022, and then just cooling down for a while, right, on the MACD. And then it actually on the histogram didn't go red or even dip into the red. You can actually see most recently, the beginning of this year, starting to see an uptick once again in green. So that could be a signal on the macro of a nice trend reversal, or at least a slow and steady shift from bear to bull. We're starting to see these momentum shifts happening, and they're starting to see some favor, I would say, in terms of the bulls trying to start making that shift happen. So these are some things I'm watching on the weekly chart. Now, let's talk about this super trend. And for context, after we talk about that, we are going to look at this big deal area on the daily chart right after to talk about kind of the short-term move of ADA and what it's doing. But here we go. I tweeted about Cardano earlier. I just said Cardano holders deserve a round of applause. And I got this tweet reply from Matthew Highland. And he said, happened to accidentally click ADA with the 3-day super trend up. It's flipped and closed green for the first time since November of 2021. So two things very interesting about this. Number one, I think it's funny that he accidentally did this. But number two, and this is where things got kind of cool for me as I dug into this, he says the first time, it's been green since November 2021. And that's fine, right? If we actually go look at this chart now, let me put it on the screen for you and dissect what he's saying. Let me go to the 3-day chart. Let's bring up that super trend. There's a super trend. So he's saying last time it was green since back here. This is November 2021, top of the bull market. But what I found extremely interesting when I started looking at this was the first time that it went from red to green. When was the last time that happened? When it went from red to green, like it is now. This is what I found really intriguing. It was back here in November 2020. So a year before it switched from green to red. Kind of that was the bull cycle right there. And that was the beginning of it was November 2020. The reason why that is so important and intriguing to me is if we go to the Bitcoin chart, and remember, it doesn't matter if you hold Bitcoin or not. This cycle chart on Bitcoin is an awesome roadmap for crypto cycles. So if we chart the bull market high of 2017 or so to the bear market low of 2018, we have the bull market doors that we were tracking for crypto. We were waiting for Bitcoin to break this green Fibonacci retracement. You all remember probably when it happened. We've broken the bull market doors. I was very excited, and this was in November of 2020. So that move, Bitcoin breaking the bull market doors, and I'm not saying that ADA is entering its bull market. I'm not saying that at all, but this was a very bullish move for crypto, very bullish move for Bitcoin, and very bullish things happened for ADA when that happened, the bull market doors. One of those things being this super trend pretty much got signaled in November 2020, and you see what ADA did after that. I mean, ADA it outperformed much of crypto, and it was a very fun ride if you're an ADA holder. Many of us enjoyed that time. So I thought that was very interesting to see when I kind of open up this super trend chart, this indicator, and you can see it's just ticking green right now. This is a big deal. It doesn't, listen, I don't sit here and say the bull market is starting. This is it, everybody. I'm not saying that. But when we're looking at all these other oscillators and all these other indicators and signals to try and spot the shift of bear to bull and tell this bear market bottom story, this happening right here, I think is a big piece of that and a big deal. So thank you, Matthew, for kind of bringing that to my attention. It's a super trend indicator. I don't use it a lot, but these types of indicators, these visualization tools, I enjoy them a lot. And this is one of them. I think I'm going to continue to track even more specifically. What will be very interesting to me if we go to the weekly, here's the super trend indicator on the weekly. When does that turn green? That will be maybe even a more bullish sign. When does that turn green? And that's something I'm probably going to start tracking over here on the ADA chart. So thanks to Matthew for kind of bringing that to my attention and putting it on the radar. A nice tool to track. So that's the super trend. Now, how do the more zoomed in micro charts play into all of this? Well, it's kind of that story that we just looked at on the weekly, which is the 20-week moving average resistance. A piece of the daily chart is the resistance. So here's the 20-week moving average essentially on the daily. It's the 36-cent range. Why it's so important, if we take our Fibonacci retracement, the swing high in November 2022 to swing low on this daily chart, this Fibonacci retracement lower high resistance is still in play. So put aside all of the bullishness, the 40% gains that just happened, this resistance area is just sitting there and ADA still has not tested it. So I'm not concerned about anything, but I'm still waiting. I mean, this is, in terms of context for price range, we're looking at a move of 7% to the 618 and then 17% to the 786. So 17% still to the upside to test resistance. And you notice this 200-day moving average, a ton of resistance for ADA right now. It's lower high resistance in this bear market. This bear market story could continue even after crazy gains. Even if ADA makes its way up to this area of resistance, falling back down, I wonder, will ADA holders think it was worth nothing? I will say this. I don't think it's worth nothing. This is a very big move in a bear market. So even if we hit resistance, it will be critical in terms of the macro shift. And the other thing to consider here is this. If ADA is able to break above the 618 line, remember, that's a 36-cent area. That's a 20-week moving average. So on the weekly chart, this area could be getting broken on the weekly, right? This 20-week moving average. So that's the move we want to see. We want to see ADA break above that 20-week moving average, maybe even close a weekly candle above it. And even if it falls back below, this will be the macro shift of the moving averages. We want to see these moving averages start just leveling out. And it's a multi-month game, everybody. This isn't something that, happens overnight. It's a multi-month game. A leveling out of ADA, even if it comes back down, this would be the shift that we want to see. You see how that pieces together very speculatively and messy on my screen. It's an important move in the long term. So that's what I'm tracking on ADA. And on the daily chart, this is what we're seeing. It's just that resistance just ahead. Will markets continue to move? I should have prefaced with this, but it's going to be very important to see what equity markets do next week now, as we wait over the weekend to see how they open next week. Will they kind of shift this trend, that it's been in. This is the bear market trend. Lower highs over here on the S&P 500. Can this continue to upside and start breaking that trend? A macro shift in equity markets as well. This could be a very good thing for ADA charts, for crypto charts in general. Wanted to do an update, everybody. Let me know your thoughts out there, how you're doing. Have an awesome Friday, awesome weekend. God bless you. I'll see you in the next video.